Ever since the recent shootings at the synagogue in Pittsburgh where 11 people died, which suspiciously and conveniently happened right before midterm elections, the mainstream media and uneducated people everywhere have taken the opportunity to use this as another way to accuse and attack President Trump. But let's take a closer look at what's really going on. There is literally zero anti-Semitic rhetoric coming from Trump. In fact, the anti-Semitism has been coming from the left for years now. Historically speaking, FDR didn't even enter World War II because of what was happening to the Jews. Like all spineless liberals, they ignored what was happening and said we should be friends with Hitler. It took an attack on Pearl Harbor for us to get involved in World War II. FDR could have prevented years of war and saved countless lives had he gotten involved earlier, because we all know genocide is evil. The Holocaust could have been cut short, but no. FDR made the decision not to. Some could argue that that isn't anti-Semitism, so let's continue. First, the left have stood by Louis Farrakhan for years. Farrakhan is an admitted anti-Semite. His speeches have consistently talked negatively about the Jewish community as well as condemned them. This hateful man is praised as a great leader for most of the left. Then let's look at our previous president, Barack Obama. The tension between him and Benjamin Netanyahu, the leader of Israel, is well documented. To make matters worse, when ISIS began its reign of terror, not only did Obama ignore them and say they were the JV team, he also took it as an opportunity to publicly attack Israel. Obama constantly called ISIS ISIL, while everybody else continued to call it ISIS.
Make two things clear. ISIL is not Islamic. No religion condones the killing of innocents, and the vast majority of ISIL's victims have been Muslim. And ISIL is certainly not a state. It was formerly al-Qaeda's affiliate in Iraq and has taken advantage of sectarian strife and Syria's civil war to gain territory on both sides of the Iraq-Syrian border.
The difference between the two names is enormous. ISIS stands for the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, while ISIL stands for the Islamic State of Iraq and Levant. By calling ISIS ISIL, that means Obama is literally denying that Israel is even its own country. Think about that. We had the President of the United States berating the leader of Israel, as well as denying that Israel is even a country. If that isn't anti-Semitism, then what is? Now look at the rhetoric coming out of liberal-dominated universities. Students and teachers alike have been calling for the literal destruction of Israel for its alleged crimes against Palestine.
Tolerance has always been an important value of Berkeley.
Israel's what? I don't even know what that means, sir. And what's Hamas is a great place, right? Excuse me? That's the way you respond? I can't hear what you're saying.
All of Israel killer.
All of Israel are killers and Hamas are not killers?
No.
Tyranny isn't cute.
What? Isn't it cute?
That flag you wave is the psychological genocide of this planet.
Killing kids.
I'm sick.
This institution is part of the people who enslaved.
It doesn't get much more anti-Semitic than that. Soon, after the attacks on the synagogue in Pittsburgh, there was another synagogue that experienced vandalism. The man who vandalized it was James Polite, a Democrat, an anti-Semite, and a man that had previously set fires at numerous Jewish schools. Of course, the media did their typical protect the left spin, and instead of calling this man what he is, an anti-Semite, they did the whole mental illness approach. Here we have a leftist committing the crimes and the left covering them up. The left's anti-Semitism doesn't end there. In fact, far from it. Most recently, the brilliant people of Minnesota elected Ilhan Omar for the House of Representatives. Besides being a controversial selection and a possible participant in marriage fraud, Omar is also under attack for her anti-Semitic comments, such as her tweet about Israel. Now let's take a look at Trump. He has reached out to Netanyahu and mended the once powerful relationship between the United States and Israel. Trump also did what numerous presidents of the past have claimed they were going to do, but never did, and that was to declare Jerusalem the capital of Israel. Trump has proven to be a friend to the Jewish people, while the regressive left have literally called for Israel's demise. Ask yourself, which one has been pushing an anti-Semitic agenda? Only a fool would say Trump.